And that's where I want to go. Shannon talking about the fact that you have not won the Daytona 500, but I heard you visiting with Matt Yoakum the other day, and you said, really, at this stage, there's no major sense of urgency because you have a lot of time left. But build on that if you would.
What happens when one of NASCAR's biggest stars starts to struggle? Kyle Busch, once feared on the track, is now dealing with tough races and even off-track moments that have fans talking. From long losing streaks to getting stumped in a simple quiz, people are beginning to wonder what's happening and what comes next. It started with a drought, not just any slump, but Kyle Busch's longest winless stretch in the Cup Series is nearly 70 races. That's a shocking stat for a driver who's won more races across NASCAR's top 3 series than anyone else. Just last year, Busch was still viewed as a danger to the front runners. He could snipe a win out of nowhere, shake up the playoff bracket. But as the 2024 season grinds on, the magic seems to be fading. Take Circuit of the Americas as a prime example. Busch led 42 laps, showing flashes of his old self. He looked poised to finally snap the streak. Then, with just laps to go, Christopher Bell breezed past. Another close call, another missed win, another reminder that, right now, Busch is chasing more than a checkered flag, he's chasing momentum. But performance is just part of the story. Recently, Kyle Busch took on a different kind of challenge, a 5th grade trivia quiz against teammate Austin Dillon. The questions were simple. What's the largest ocean? What's the freezing point of water? Which months have 28 days? And yet, Busch stumbled. Dillon won 8-5. Fans reacted with a mix of amusement and concern. One tweeted, even Brexton could beat him. Another said, glad he can drive, because he clearly can't pass a pop quiz.
Are you smarter than a 5th grader? How many continents are there on Earth?
9. 7.
It was all lighthearted, but it painted a bigger picture. Busch, known for his sharp edge and fierce confidence, is now being seen in a new light, vulnerable, even human. The once intimidating figure who stormed onto the scene and changed how drivers raced is now being teased for not knowing trivia. And the timing couldn't be more sensitive. LaJoie, another Cup driver, recently said Busch's potential exit from the sport could trigger a massive domino effect in the NASCAR garage. During his podcast, LaJoie speculated that Busch leaving the number 8 car at Richard Childress Racing would open up a major seat as one that someone like Daniel Suárez could fill. Suárez just lost his spot with Trackhouse, and the timing couldn't be more perfect. So here's the situation. Busch is under contract with RCR through 2026, but a contract doesn't mean certainty. If results keep slipping, if media pressure builds, and if the team sees a chance to rebuild around fresh talent, the possibility of an early exit becomes very real. And let's be honest, Busch isn't just any driver. His departure wouldn't just leave a gap. It would shake the sport. This is a guy with 232 wins across the top 3 NASCAR series, 2 Cup championships, a polarizing, game-changing presence. Taking him out of the equation creates ripples that reach every corner of the Cup Series. It could also launch a wave of seat swapping. If Busch steps down and Suárez moves in, what happens to the rest of the field? Front Row Motorsports, 2311 Racing, and other teams with uncertain charters could suddenly get aggressive. It would be a full-on game of musical chairs, and it would all start with one driver quietly walking away. But is Kyle ready to leave? He hasn't said so directly. In fact, he's still showing up, still battling, but the tone has changed. Instead of being the hunter, he's often the hunted or worse, the forgotten, the one fans write off, the one who gets mocked online for a quiz instead of celebrated for his past greatness. And here's the twist. Busch grew up idolizing a driver who also faced an uncertain end, Jeff Gordon. As a kid, Kyle watched Gordon dominate the sport. He picked him as a favorite when he was just 9 years old, drawn to the rainbow-colored DuPont car and the bold style. It was Gordon who inspired Busch to chase a dream that seemed impossible at the time.
Jeff Gordon seeking his first Winston Cup victory.
His dad, Tom Busch, sacrificed to make that dream happen. He sold a classic Ford to help his sons race. Weekends were spent at dirt tracks, burning fuel and chasing wins. At just 13, Kyle was racing Legends cars in Las Vegas so hungry to compete that rumors say he faked his age to enter early.
When my brother wanted to start racing, we didn't have the money for my brother to buy a car for Kurt to go to start racing. My dad had a car, but nothing for Kurt. So my dad sold that 32 Ford for $32,000 and was able to take that money and go invest into some race cars for Kurt to get started. And, so he was making sacrifices left and right.
He didn't just dream of racing, he built it, lap by lap. And now, decades later, that dream is facing its toughest turn. Not because he can't drive anymore, but because the spotlight has shifted. Because the next generation guys like Bell, Chastain, and Byron are faster, hungrier, and, in many ways, more adaptable to this new era of Cup racing. There's also a shift in how fans see him. The younger audience wasn't raised on Busch's dominance. They know him from memes, old highlights, or viral moments, not the full arc of his rise. And that creates a challenge. How do you maintain relevance in a sport that's always chasing the next big thing? Some say it's time for Busch to step aside and let the younger drivers take over. Others argue that legends don't just fade, they evolve. Could Busch reinvent himself? Could he become the wise veteran, the mentor, the strategist who wins through craft instead of speed? His recent appearances in broadcast booths and media interviews suggest he's testing that path. He's thoughtful, direct, and surprisingly charismatic when the helmet comes off. It's not hard to imagine Busch as a full-time analyst, breaking down races with the same precision he once used to win them. Or maybe there's more he wants to prove. Maybe the silence, the stares, the mounting doubt, it's all just fuel. Maybe Busch is gearing up for one final run, one last win, one final statement to remind the world exactly who he is. So where does that leave Busch? Some fans still believe. They say the right setup, the right strategy, and a little luck could bring him back to victory lane. Others say it's time to step back, maybe move into media, mentoring, or ownership. He's already shown flashes of that next chapter, dabbling in commentary and content. Whatever happens, one thing is clear. Kyle Busch changed NASCAR. He brought intensity, unpredictability, and a fierce attitude that shook the sport out of its comfort zone. Whether you loved him or hated him, you watched him. And now, everyone's watching again for very different reasons. This isn't just the story of a driver slowing down, it's the story of what happens when a titan of the sport meets a moment of reflection. It's a reminder that even legends aren't immune to time, pressure, or public opinion. And it's a question to the fans. If Kyle Busch really is nearing the end, who takes his place? Is it Suárez, Bell, a rookie waiting for his shot? Or maybe, just maybe, it's still Busch himself mounting one final push to silence the doubts. If you're fired up to see where Busch's wild ride takes him next, hit that like button. Subscribe for more hard-hitting NASCAR stories and drop a comment below. Do you think he's gearing up for a comeback, or is this the end of an era?